You are now listening to Grace Tube, the channel that will help you spiritually. Magandang umaga sa lahat ng mga nakikinig ngayon at sa mga kaibigan natin na sumasabay-bay ng ating programa. Kayo ho ay nasa Grace Tube. You're watching now Grace Tube. And we will talk about very interesting subject today. And we will be talking about the Bible. The Bible is unique in its teachings. Importanteng malalaman natin ang mga bagay-bagay regarding the Bible because the Bible is the manual. Kagaya ho ng isang appliances, ang mga inventor niyan o mga creator niyan, gumawa ng manual kung paano mo maalagaan, paano magiging matagal ang buhay ng isang appliances. Paano ito maka-serve ng mabuti, di ba? Or paano hindi kaagad masira yung isang bagay. Sa tao, hindi naman tayo bagay. Tayo ho ay meron ding manual. Paano tayo maging masaya, maging maligaya. Yung buhay natin ay magiging mas makapakinabang sa iba, sa ating sarili, sa ating family, di po ba? Especially sa ating Creator, sa ating Diyos. So, dyan ho natin malalaman yan sa Bible. So, itong pag-uusapan natin, hindi pa ito yung contents talaga ng Bible. We're just talking about the background. And we could see, according to those who studied research about the Bible, ano yung mga comments nila regarding this? Okay. So, we will talk about unique in its teachings. Ito ho, it was observed about the prophecy about the Bible. Si Wilbur Smith ho, yung book niya is the Incomparable Book. Yun ho ang isinulat niya sa Bacon Publications. Sabi niya, a man who has read several thousands books concludes that whatever one may think of the authority of and the message presented in the book we call the Bible, there is worldwide agreement that in more ways than one, it is the most remarkable volume that has ever been produced in this some 5,000 years of writing on the part of the human race. Yan ang sabi niya. Kung tayo kabasa na ng maraming mga books, makukumpare natin ang kaibahan talaga ng Bible. So sabi niya dito, it is the only volume ever produced by man or a group of men in which is to be found a large body of prophecies relating to individual nations, example Israel, okay, to all the peoples of the earth, to certain cities, and to the coming of the one who was to be the Messiah. The ancient world had many different devices for determining the future, or parang nag-predict, to predict the future, known as divination, but not in the entire gamut of Greek and Latin literature. Even though they use the words prophet and prophecy, can we find any real specific prophecy of a great historic event to come in the distant future? Nor any prophecy of a Savior to arise in the human race? Yan ang challenge ni Wilbur Smith. Ano niya dito, sinabi niya dito regarding Mohammedanism. Okay? Sabi niya dito, Mohammedanism cannot point to any prophecies of the coming of Muhammad uttered hundreds of years before his birth. Neither can the founders of any cult in this country rightly identify any ancient text specifically foretelling their appearance. But about kay Jesus Christ, napakarami ho. 700 to 1,000 years before He was born, napakarami hong prophecies na sinabi regarding Jesus. At yan ho ay pag-uusapan natin later, no, sa next naman mga episodes. So sa background pa tayo ngayon, no, regarding the uniqueness of the Bible in terms of its teachings. Now, history. From 1 Samuel through 2 Chronicles, one finds the history of Israel covering about 5 centuries. The Cambridge Ancient History, Volume 1, page 222 says, ito mga ano to na mga books. Cambridge Ancient History says the Israelites certainly manifest a genius for historical construction, and the Old Testament embodies the oldest history writing extant. Wilbur Smith cites the distinguished archaeologist Professor Albright. Ito kilala ito ng mga archaeologist, who begins his classic essay, The Biblical Period. Sabi dito, Hebrew national tradition excels all others in its clear picture of tribal and family origins. In Egypt and Babylon, in Assyria and Phoenicia, in Greece and Rome, we look in vain for anything comparable. There is nothing like it in the tradition of the Germanic peoples. Neither India nor China can produce anything similar, since their earliest historical memories are literary deposits of distorted dynastic tradition, with no trace of the herdsman or peasant behind the demigod or king with whom their records begin. Neither in the oldest Indic historic writings, the Puranas, nor the earliest Greek historians is there a hint of the fact that both Indo-Aryans and Hellenes were once nomads who immigrated into their later abodes from the north. The Assyrians, to be sure, remembered vaguely that their earliest rulers, whose names they recalled without any details about their deed, were tent dwellers, but whence they came had long been forgotten. The essay is found in the Jews, their history, culture, and religion, by Louis Frankenstein. So diyan ho makikita na compare ng mga historians, mga archaeologists, ang uniqueness mismo ng Bible. Now, yung mga personalities, paano pinoportray sa Bible yung mga tao ho na involved, yung mga isinulat dito. The Bible deals very frankly with the sins of its characters. Kung sa ibang book siguro ma-observe natin na posible na may mga cover up dyan, hindi po ba? Ipapakita mo yung magagandang bagay lang. Ngunit sa Bible ho, lahat pinapakita. The Bible deals very frankly with the sins of its characters. Read the biographies today. Diba? Pag gumawa mga biographies and see how they try to cover up, overlook, or ignore the shady side of people. Take the great literary geniuses. Most are painted as saints. So, yung good side lang talaga yung i-maximize, ipapakita. The Bible does not do it that way. For sa Bible ho, hindi ganoon, no? It tells it as it is. The sins of the people denounce. And you could read it in the Bible. In Deuteronomy chapter 9 verse 24, the sins of the patriarchs. In Genesis 12:11 to 13. Pwede nyo tingnan ho yan, no? Para mas makita nyo. Pinapakita dyan. Evangelists point their own faults and the faults of the apostles. In Matthew 26:31 to 56, ito yun, mga verses na to. Makikita mo dyan sa screen. You could look it up. You could look it up. You could check it. Mismo yung sa mga churches, disorder of the churches. Example is in 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 11, chapter 15 verse 1, 2 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 4, etc. So many will say, why did they have to put in the chapter about David and Bathsheba? Or for example, about David. Well, the Bible has the habit of telling it like it is. So yun ho, ganun ka-honest yung pagpasulat ng Diyos. Pinapakita niya hindi lang yung good side ng tao, at yung bad side din. Para makakuha tayo ng mga leksyon. Makikita natin yung mga consequences ng mga kasalanan na ginawa nila. Anong mang nangyari. Example for David. Okay? I'm convinced that he was saved in an early age. Yung shepherd pa siya. At that young age, he defeated the giant, Goliath, because of his trust in God. So doon makita yung and God declared that he is the man after God's own heart. Hindi po ba? And he was anointed at an early age to be the next king of Israel. Okay? And we could see his successes in war, and he became really as promised and as anointed early, that he really became the king after Saul died. Okay. Now we could see also later that he has sinned adultery and murder. Hindi po ba? Between Bathsheba and also the husband Uriah. So, grabe yung kasalanan yun. At yun ho ay pinakita sa Bible. And then later, David repented. Pinakita din yan sa Bible. Ang ganda nga ng ano dyan, no? Sa Psalms 89, verse 30 and down, makikita natin how God would punish His children. So, yung mga anak niya, dinisdisiplina. Makikita yan sa Psalms 89 about David. Ngunit, God is faithful. Covenant yan eh. Once you are saved, once you have that relationship with God, hindi po ba, you have already that permanent. Anak ka eh. Naging anak ka na talaga. So, He will discipline you, but He will never neglect you or mawala yung pagkaanak mo. Yun, Psalms 89:30 down. Basahin nyo. Related dyan sa Hebrews chapter 12 regarding 5 to 11 regarding the discipline of God to His children. Pinapakita ko yan, lahat yan sa Bible. And then, later, makikita din natin na David suffered consequences. Yes, you're forgiven. Yes, but still, yung bang, pag you are wounded, even it is healed, nandun pa yung scar. Yung ano ba, yung history ng nangyari. Hindi mawawala yung scars. Ito. So, mga consequences ng mga kasalanan ni David ay nandun pa rin. Nagpataya na yung mga pamilya niya, yung mga anak niya. Half-brother rape her half-sister. Pinatay ng half-brother yung another half-brother. Things like that. Yung mismo si Absalom na isa sa mga anak niya, ay nag-rebelde sa kanya. So, those are the consequences of his sins that later happened. But we could see how God is faithful to his son, David. So, ganun din ho, pinapakita ng Diyos yung faithfulness niya sa atin. Na tayo ho, naging anak niya. When we received Jesus Christ, according to John 1:12, we became a child of God. At pag tayo ay gumawa ng hindi kaaya-aya, hindi mabuti, tayo ay gumawa ng kasalanan, we will be disciplined by God. Kaya dapat, we need to confess to Him, ask forgiveness to Him, and then ayusin natin. Yung meron na tayong relationship, pero magiging maganda pa yung relationship. Pwede may relationship kayo, pero hindi kayo nag-uusap. Hindi kayo nagpapansinan, hindi po ba? Pero ang relationship nandun pa rin, hindi mawawala yun eh. Ganon din sa Diyos. We could have that permanent relationship, but we should develop that good relationship, that good fellowship with our Father. At we could avoid discipline, spanking, kung saan pa. And we could also be rewarded as a good child, a faithful child of God. Okay, so thanks for watching, and please click like, share, and subscribe. And sana ho tayo ay makaserve, no? At help tayo spiritually sa ating mga listeners. God bless, and we are praying for you. Thank you, and thank you for your support.